It's time for another episode of MoState Update, the official podcast of Missouri State Athletics. Here are your hosts, Corey Riggs, and the voice of the Bears, Art Haynes.
Well, hello again, everybody. I'm Art Haynes along with Corey Riggs, and welcome to MoState Update. It's been a while since we've been with you. I wouldn't call it a summer hiatus, just kind of a slow-down schedule with the school year, of course, long over. But, Corey, there's still some things to talk about from last year, including honors for the baseball team. Max Knight named a third-team All-America as a utility player.
Yeah, it was an incredible season for the two-way star from Bigsby, Oklahoma, the former Oklahoma State Cowboy that decided to kind of pack up and try his hand here at Missouri State, both in the field, at home plate, and on the mound. Max was exceptional, and I don't know that it's always been this way where there have been some of, and you know this better than most, but there's about 4 or 5 different groups that give out All-American awards in baseball, more than any other sport, but there haven't always been a utility or a two-way recognition, and I think that kind of tells you how the game is changing and how very important those two-way guys are to the modern college baseball team.
This is the college baseball writers All-America team. You know, Sean Markham on the 03 College World Series team was notable, outstanding shortstop, and of course he was the closer coming in to the mound, so that was a precedent. There have been others, but Max Knight, terrific year, batted .275 with 13 home runs, 48 RBIs, and then he was the Dave Dickensheet Pitcher of the Year on the squad and the co-newcomer of the year in the Missouri Valley Conference.
Yeah, it was all around a banner year for him, and it will be really exciting to see what he can do in his second year in maroon and white as you turn the page and get ready to see what Missouri State does as a member of Conference USA. But he was not the only award winner in the postseason.
No, Nick Rodriguez, first-team All-American at second base. He is MoState's 13th first-team All-America selection.
Well, and just, I mean, it tells you, that recognition tells you all you need to know about the season that he had. And there are so many superlatives to what Nick did this year. He was once again the team's most valuable player. He was the best offensive weapon the team had all year. And then, of course, rewriting the Missouri State record book with a 40-game hit streak. I mean, that broke the previous record by 10 whole games that was previously held by Braden Drake. But to see Nick get that recognition, it is vastly deserved, and more importantly, it's not going to be the end of it because he's got that All-American first-team status now, and Art, it's not going to be that long before we hear his name in the Major League Baseball draft.
Absolutely. He was the Joe Carter Player of the Year in the Missouri Valley Conference, and that 40-game hit streak, the second longest in Valley history, going back to 1981. So a terrific season for Nick and well-deserved recognition. How about Caden Bogenpole? He was named as a reserve for USA Baseball Collegiate National Team this summer.
And that is such a huge honor for any kid that's grown up in this country playing the sport of baseball. It's been a while since the Bears have had any sort of representation on that team. You've got to go back to Jake Berger being the last time the Bears had a position player that was on that team. Now, the caveat is he's not one of the starters. He's not necessarily one of the players. But if any of those outfielders get injured, then there's a chance that he can be called up. And this is a team that's going to go all the way, I believe, Art, to Japan to play.
Yeah. So the USA Baseball Training Complex is in Cary, North Carolina. And then the 45th USA versus Japan Collegiate All-Star Championship Series in various locations in early July in Japan.
Yep, and it's a great honor for Caden. On top of that, he and Max Knight sharing an honor as well, Art, as both of them were selected to the Catuit team to be a part of the Cape Cod League. And everybody knows about the history and the prestige that surrounds that summer league. It is the best of the best in the country in college baseball that get invited there. So the fact that Bogey and Max are both out there and on the same team, a really great opportunity for these two young men.
My family was on vacation at Cape Cod in 2005. My son and I went to see a game. We had 2 players from Missouri State on the team at that time, and just an idyllic setting and small town in New England with a lot of the community coming out in support, and they'd announce the players. Batting next from the University of Texas, batting next from Southern California, batting next from Southwest Missouri State University. And it was a thrill to have our guys involved.
Oh, yeah. It's the only thing that I guess I'm getting to that point in my career now where I'm just so nervous about poaching. And most of poaching of good players anymore comes player to player, and you send our guys out there, and they get to play with these SEC players, these ACC players, and tell them, hey, we got some NIL money back at our school. Why don't you think about coming out here and playing? It's like just want to make sure we get them back healthy and we get them back when they're done out there.
Dylan Leach was playing independent baseball in Montana, had his contract picked up by the Toronto Blue Jays, so congratulations to him. Joining an organization also home to former GA Trevor Cho and pitcher Hayden Yinger.
Yeah,
both of whom are in AAA.
Yeah, both of them are with, I believe that's the Buffalo team that they're with. So really kind of Missouri State heavy. Obviously, it'll take Dylan a little bit of time to get up there, but I remember when the Bears football team went out to Montana to start the football season, Dylan actually had reached out to me and said, hey, I'd love for you to come over and catch a game if you can. Geographically, we were literally on opposite sides of the state of Montana. And the great state of Montana is wide. It's wide. It would have been about a 6-hour drive one way for him to get to me or me to get to him. But I was a young man who kind of bounced around in his college career, spent time at Mizzou, spent time at Arkansas, but came to Missouri State when we needed a catcher and needed somebody to kind of help lead our team. And he filled both of those roles. So could not be more happy for Dylan to get this opportunity.
Yeah, I think Montana, behind Alaska and Texas, is the third largest state in the country, so it's a big state.
Yeah, there's plenty of wide open spaces.
Well, Lady Bear standout Lacey Stokes, we saw her a few minutes ago down on the floor coaching at the little kids Lady Bear camp, but she's been named the 2025 Missouri State Outstanding Female Athlete, and deservedly so.
Oh, what an incredible season and an incredible career. And, this is an award that Lady Bears have kind of picked up quite a bit over the years, but Lacey ends up going Missouri Valley Conference Defensive Player of the Year, All MVC First Teamer, All Defensive Team, All Tournament Team. I mean, there weren't many awards that she didn't pick up. So to add this one to the trophy case, I'm sure means a lot, and someone who's still contributing and giving back to the game on campus right now.
These awards are voted on by the coaches of the Missouri State Intercollegiate Athletics programs. Lacey's the 13th basketball player to earn the Female Athlete of the Year, the fourth Lady Bear in the last 8 years. Recent recipients include Danielle Gitson, Alexa Willard, and Bryce Caleb.
And that's quite a group to be lumped in with. Obviously, I say most recently Bryce Caleb. I say she was phenomenal to watch, and Lacey has been no different. It's just the only downside to Lacey Stokes is the fact that we didn't have her for 4 years.
I know.
That's the only sad story in that book is the fact that we didn't get her for 4 years, because she probably would have been in the top 3 in a lot of statistical categories had she gotten 4 years here.
Well, as it was, you got Jackie, you got Melody, you got a whole bunch of great Lady Bears.
Casey Garrison.
Yeah, Casey Garrison, but Lacey's right up there.
Oh, 100%.
And then the prestigious Virgil Cheek Award went to men's soccer standout Jesus Barea, who's now playing professionally.
Yep, Real Salt Lake has already logged his first minutes, his first goal as a pro, and he is off and running. But nobody has had more success on the pitch in recent history than Jesus Barea has. 15 goals in his final season as a Bear, and it was an impressive season. This soccer team, at the end of John Leamy's Hall of Fame career and at the start of head coach Michael Seabolt's career, is a national power. Art. It does not get enough attention on this campus and locally. They are a perennial NCAA tournament team now for going on the better part of the last 7 years. Jesus was a huge part of their success the last 3-4 years.
They are easily our most consistently successful program.
Yep, and the women's program kind of nipping at their heels now with what the coaching staff has done there. But Jesus was just an absolute force on the field for Missouri State, and now as a professional and representing the school very well.
The Virgil Cheek Award has been given since 1955 to the graduating Missouri State male student-athlete best demonstrating high qualities in scholarship, character, attendance, leadership, and athletic performance. Named after a former Missouri State faculty athletics rep, business faculty member, and the MSU Athletics Hall of Fame.
Well, and just Jesus exemplifies every one of those categories. Such a great leader on the field for Missouri State, and like you said, you look at those qualities, and all of those qualities are what you have to put together to be able to have a successful career off the field or moving on to the professional level, which is what Jesus has done, and we couldn't be more proud of him.
Two-time Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year, including this past year, Jesus Barea. Well, so a lot of well-deserved honors to Missouri State student-athletes. When we come back, we'll spend the rest of the show with Athletic Director Pat Ransdell. A lot of ground to cover after his first year in that position. That's coming up next on MoState Update. Welcome back. Well, we're pleased to be joined now by Missouri State Athletic Director Pat Ransdell. Just about to wrap up his first year as the AD. Got your family all moved into Springfield now and going forward.
We're here ready to go. It's been a whirlwind. I think I counted the other day. It was about 282 days or something like that between the time I left and the time that they moved in here. So it's been a long time coming, but we're glad to all be here now and ready to rock and roll.
That had to make Father's Day a little bit more special for you this time of year to have everybody here in one spot now at the conclusion of what I heard you call the other day week 0.
Year 0. Year zero. That last year was year 0, and we got year 1 coming up. So, we're excited about it.
Well, some great accomplishments in your first year. Missouri State won more conference championships than any other Missouri Valley Conference school.
It was a great year. We had, obviously the 2 soccer championships in the fall, plus a tournament for our women. So that was a really good experience. Had the national seed in the men's soccer tournament, and then we had obviously the Lady Bears with the great season that they had as they completed their regular season championship, and then of course Joey and the baseball Bears who got the regular season championship, and we were competitive in quite a few others, and hopefully we can transition that over into Conference USA this coming year. But we're excited about it, and we feel like we've just scratched the surface.
Well, and Missouri State has long prided itself on trying to be competitive at a championship level in all the sports, which some schools kind of de-emphasize some. Do you think that's going to be able to continue with the new environment?
I hope so. I mean, obviously, with the way that college athletics is trending and going, the days of everyone being able to fully invest in everything is probably numbered, and it's going to be a tough decision on everybody's part to try and make sure that we're competitive in the sports that we need to be competitive in. We have to do that. But I think, Springfield, Missouri State, I think provides us opportunities that we can be successful. We can recruit student athletes maybe to some of the programs that might not be as high profile. But I do think that we can be competitive across the board. But moving into Conference USA, there's really good teams across the board in every single sport, and every sport is a little bit different on who's at that upper quarter. As long as we're competing in that upper quarter of the conference, then we're giving ourselves a chance for a championship. The ball's not going to bounce your way sometimes. Sometimes it is. But if we're competing in that upper quarter to upper third, I think it's going to give us a chance to win.
Your first year, Pat, I'm sure you learned a lot about Springfield and Missouri State. What were some of your impressions?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you do the research on the front end of an interview, you think some things. I think a lot of things were confirmed, that we have a great town, a great fan base. We've got a great alumni. We need to engage more of them. I think that was also confirmed. It's things like that we need to continue to push the needle on. And over the next 3, 4, 5 years, I think that we can do that. we brought some people on board to help with that. Kelsey Tolbert, I know you guys have talked to her, and I think she's going to be able to do great things with that side of the house. But yeah, I mean, like, it's a great institution, great people. There's great people not only at this institution but throughout the community. So those are the things that kind of get you really, really excited because you know it can be done. And so it's just, now we just got our budget approved last week at the Board of Governors meeting. So we're appreciative of that. So the investment level is coming, and we just need to continue to focus on that and make sure that we're putting the right pieces in place.
A new budget, a new conference. It's a whole new world. Part of that is because of the House settlement. I know one of the biggest questions that I get asked out in public is, how does all of this affect the Bears? How does all of this affect Missouri State? I know you're coming off of just a couple of weeks ago some CUSA meetings. Where is the Bears conference? Where is CUSA leaning? Are most of the schools planning on buying in? I know we've talked about that, and that's kind of been the plan for the Bears. Yep,
everyone is in. It's funny when you go to those conferences, everyone's got the same problems.
Sure.
And that's kind of refreshing because sometimes you get stuck in kind of your own lane and you kind of think that you're out on an island and we're the only ones with problems, and that's certainly not the case. So everyone's going to, Conference USA is going to be all bought in. I think that you're only going to see the investment level grow over the next few years. But as it relates to Missouri State, we're going to be rolling out with some new things here in the next couple of weeks and the first part of July. We're going to create a competitive excellence fund that is going to allow us to, receive donations and be able to pay out on the rev share side of things. So that's going to be good for us to move forward. That's going to allow us to be able to be competitive. And, that's going to grow over time, obviously. We probably can only expect so much so fast. But, these type of things it's going to be more advantageous for the donor. There in the past, giving to maybe some of the collectives, we had multiple collectives, and I still think that there's a place there for those entities, but certainly being able to, obviously the House settlement, the $20.5 million, we're not going to be there.
Yeah.
But I do think that we will be competitive, and I do think that the top and bottom of Conference USA, the gap isn't going to be terribly large.
So to put a finer point on this, you still need the normal Bears Fund contributions for ongoing operations, but this is over and above that, and so you're consolidating those into a central fund? Yeah, so we're,
obviously it's yet another bucket that we got to fill, right? So you have your operational budget, you have your capital budgets, you have your and now this revenue share competitive excellence piece that is going to be yet another bucket that we're going to ask Springfield, and we need to get creative with how we fill that bucket as well. And I think we got some ideas there, but yeah, I think we need to be careful that we're not having 8 or 9 different things. We probably need to focus on 3 or 4 as opposed to having 9, 10, 11, 12 things that people can give to. Let's consolidate down to what is going to be impactful for championships. And that's really our focus. As we really look toward the football and men's and women's basketball, we really have to be focused on how can we be the most competitive program that we can be so that we can win championships.
Your schedule obviously is pretty packed year-round, but when you do have some downtime, what do you like to do for recreation?
Well, I love to play golf. I still have yet to. I think I've only played like once since I've moved here, but maybe I can find some time this summer. But then next week, the family and I will leave to go on vacation, so we'll have a vacation in and around the 4th of July, and we go down to Florida and just I'll just sit there on the beach for a week and hopefully not move very much. So that'll be nice. Just kind of recharge the batteries. It's been a long time, so that'll be fun. We actually, for Father's Day weekend, rented a boat out at Table Rock.
Yeah.
So we went out on the lake. So that was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I can see myself doing that a lot.
Did you grow up? Did you spend a lot of time on the lake as a kid?
So growing up in Clemson, South Carolina, it's really on a lake.
Okay.
So there's a lake system there around Clemson. So we would go out on the lake there and try and find ways to get out on the water as much as possible. So that kind of fits with how I grew up. So it's kind of fun to have the kids do that, because we haven't lived a whole lot of areas that had a lake kind of nearby. So that was really, really fun, and I can't wait to just explore more of the Ozarks and what it has to offer. I think there's a lot out there.
Visiting with Athletic Director Pat Ransdell. We'll have more after this on MoState Update. Back with you on MoState Update. Our guest is Athletic Director Pat Ransdell. So, Pat, we've been talking about some of the various financial needs. Going in, how competitive do you think Missouri State will be with the fellow schools in CUSA? I
like where our budget fell. I'm really appreciative to the Board of Governors and President Williams for allowing us to do some things. And I think we can step in and be in the conversation and be competitive. Certainly, that's something that when you're making this move, I mean, you can count on one hand the number of teams who have had a whole lot of success in the first couple of years kind of making that transition from FCS to FBS. The good news is for, if you look at kind of beyond football, the Missouri Valley was a very competitive conference nationwide. So, it's not like we are stepping up in just a crazy aspect on all of our other sports. But we're going to be able to step in, I think, and be competitive. Again, if we can be in that top third, I think it gives us an opportunity to win championships, especially when things go your way. And then football, I like what we did with our recruiting class. That's going to be a big undertaking. Moving from FCS to FBS, and it's going to be something that's going to take some time. But I like our makeup. I know I was talking to Coach Beard earlier, and he likes our makeup. So, we'll be competitive. It's just that one specifically is a lot goes into that transition.
Did you ever think that you were going to spend as much time on social media trying to convince gamers to play as Missouri State on a college football video game as you have this week? Because that has been a huge storyline this week.
It's incredible. I mean, I saw something this morning, I think, on social media where if the public plays with Missouri State 7 million times, then it's going to translate to roughly $50,000 that's going to be coming back. And I don't know, that's cool. I was talking to somebody, I was like, let's try and get Missouri State to go viral like GameStop stock did a few years ago. Let's just have everybody just play Missouri State for the heck of it, and we could reap those rewards.
Well, that was my Father's Day gift from my son Carter. Is he pre-ordered the NCAA college football game for him?
That was your gift?
So that was the gift to me. So I'm going to be playing it. He's going to be playing it much better than I am. So we're going to do our best to try and help fundraise that way by playing the video game.
I can't wait, because my son, I think, has pre-ordered it. It's going to be fun to get out there and see what plaster looks like in real time.
So at what level did the budget come in?
It kind of depends on what you want to count within your operating. But, we're going to be, I think we'll land middle of the pack in Conference USA. That maybe 6, 7, 8 range, I think is going to be able to be a key component for us.
So we talked about some of these various other aspects and the capital needs. What improvements to football specifically are being done this summer? So
this summer we got the new field, which looks fantastic. Was out there earlier shooting a spot out there, and the team was out there getting a workout in, and I had so many players just come up and just say thank you. I think it's been good on their joints. I think they've enjoyed it. So it still needs to get broken in a little bit. We need to get out there and get some workouts done out there. But that's been going good. Lights should finish up soon. I'm looking forward to getting our hands on that just to kind of create a show out there. That's going to be really, really a fun thing. We've got some seat improvements that'll come to fruition this summer. So the public can stay tuned on that. I think you'll definitely know where we're playing. And then we've got the ESPN kind of docking station, if you will.
Compound.
There's a lot of investment in that. So Jeff Coiner and our IT department has been so helpful in getting that done for us. there's going to be a lot of investment in that, even though it's probably going to be covered up, a lot of it with concrete on some level. So big investment right underneath where you walk. But there's going to be some aesthetic things with that area of that parking lot right there at that stoplight. That I'm looking forward to. So more to come on some of that. But there's been a lot of investment, and they've been out there power washing, painting handrails. There's been a lot of things that we've been doing, and really can't wait for the public to see it this fall.
And it's not just the football complex. I mean, you've got a new look to the floor in Hammond Student Center with volleyball. There's a new look to the floor in Great Southern Bank Arena. So you've got two, not necessarily new floors, but new looks to the floors.
Sure. We're excited about that. Having just those CUSA logos prominent just makes it just look that much better. And we're excited about all the stuff that we're adding this off season, and just this. I think this was the last time we can sand the basketball court and repaint it. So the next time we'll be doing that here in 2 or 3, 4 years, it'll be a completely new court, which we already have ideas on how we can be creative with that.
So what's next on the capital agenda for football?
Obviously, we got to address our locker room situation, offices, meeting rooms. We are having monthly to bi-monthly meetings on exploring all the possibilities. I've asked us to exhaust every possibility that we can come up with so that we can make sure that we're making the best decision for the next 20 to 25 years of Missouri State football, because that's what this decision really is. I mean, I don't want to just rush something to rush it. I want it to be something that the next athletic director, 2, 3 athletic directors from now, the next 2, 3, 4 coaches from now, all can be proud of and still use, and something that we haven't really done with football in a really, really long time.
Is the South End Zone complex still a possibility? South
End Zone is a possibility. I think there's a possibility with the North End Zone, and I don't think something without in McDonald is out of the realm of possibility. I think there's some challenges there. But man, that's a cool storyline. If we could figure something out there. Obviously, there's the issues there, kind of starting in with AC and the roof. Like it's hard to go fundraise for AC and roof.
Those are big ticket items too.
They are. But I do think that there's some ways that we can maybe explore some funding. But who knows? Our campus architects and facilities people are being great, and they're giving us all the options. And as we kind of get further into fall, maybe we've got some decisions that we can kind of move in one direction or another.
So moving to McDonald would mean resurrecting the old tunnel, right?
That was exactly what it would mean, which would be really, really cool. I mean, right now they are demolishing the President's Box and the President's Suite, so that whole thing will get reimagined. We're going to be able to invite all of our other suite holders down there, take a look at what things could look like moving forward if there was investment. Mm-hmm. The entrance to that floor will look all new. So we're excited about all the things that we're currently doing so that we can get people's eyes on it, hopefully create some buy-in, and hopefully more investment in the future.
Speaking of the President's Suite, year one coming to a close for you and for University President Dr. Biff Williams. What was this year like working with him, and how have you guys grown kind of in your partnership and relationship this year?
Yeah, I mean, he's been great to work with. He's extremely supportive. I mean, he has an athletic training background, so he understands our space. And, I couldn't ask for someone to be more accommodating, even if, obviously we have a lot of needs, and we can't do everything at once. But certainly he gets it, and if he can make something happen, he certainly tries, and he's just been, great to work with, great person. His wife, Kristen, is fantastic. So he's a great representative of Missouri State.
Don't want to really lay anything on them, but right now as we speak, what are your expectations for football and how competitive they'll be in the conference this year?
I mean, certainly the year starts off really, really difficult, right? With a trip to L.A. and USC, and then you follow that up with a trip to Huntington, West Virginia, with a great program history, and then coming home against SMU. I mean, that's That's about as tough as it gets in a 3-week stretch. I think in FBS football as opposed to FCS football, you really have to look at it in spurts, right? You have your non-conference slate. Then you have, the way Conference USA is set up, you kind of have your weekday slate, and then you have your weekend slate. It's almost like there's 3 different seasons. Mm-hmm. And in the FBS level, your number one goal is first things first, right? You got to get to 6 wins, bowl eligibility. And then everything can kind of take care of things after that, right? Conference championships, 9, 10-win seasons. But you got to get to that 6-win plateau first. How can we do that? That kind of changes the way you kind of look at a season. I think Jacksonville State started off last year 1-3 on the year, finished with 7 or 8 wins and a conference championship. That's possible. At the FCS level, you lose a couple games, then there's your opportunity for postseason play is over. There's not much left to play for at times in late October, early November. So I think you kind of keep that hope a lot longer at the FBS level.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's my understanding that this first year we're not eligible for postseason play.
Correct. But
last year there weren't enough 6-win teams to fill all the slots, and a first-year team got in.
So you've got, La Tech was able to go, I think, last year at 5-7 even. Mm-hmm. They went to the Shreveport, the Independence Bowl.
Yeah, in their backyard.
Which made sense for them. And so you never really know, but that's why you kind of you got to stay active, and we got to have buy-in from our fans. That's probably the one thing that if everybody out there is listening, we're off to a great start in terms of sales for SMU and single game sales, and we've almost doubled our revenue from a season ticket standpoint. So we're excited about all of that, but we got to continue to invest and continue to have our alumni and fans and supporters buy in, buy season tickets, buy single game tickets, and buy them early. Being able to know and count on all this stuff before day of game is important. So we're going to continue to push the early button on a lot of our sales. Next week, our season ticket sales go on sale for men's and women's basketball, so people can kind of keep their eye out and peeled for that. Get those out there so that we can get all of our stuff renewed and then start selling new.
July 1st is going to be a big day in the history of Missouri State athletics, and I think for the fan base as well, as you get ready for July 1, the day it all becomes official, Missouri State officially moves to CUSA. What should fans be on the lookout for on that day?
Yeah, I mean, we'll be heavy on social media that day for sure, and we're just going to be excited. We've already shot some stuff, and it's finally going to be here. We've talked about it now ad nauseum for probably last year and a half, and the day has finally come, and we're going to be excited for it. I know our coaches are excited, our players, all of them, all 400 and plus student athletes are excited. So it's going to be a great day. And then August 26th, so everybody put this on your calendar, Party in the CUSA. We're going to have an event out there in Bearfest Village where it's kind of welcome back all of our students to campus, welcome back all of our student athletes, welcome back to all of our faculty and staff, and the general public. We want to have something that's kind of overarching. There are a lot of games and opportunities to interact with our coaches and student athletes and just to enjoy each other and celebrate Conference USA and what it means for this institution moving forward.
I think there's even going to be a movie on the field after all that stuff, too, for the students to hang out and kind of bond and be in the football stadium. But even before that, you've got a big fundraising opportunity on August 2nd, the annual, what we used to call the All Sports Auction, which is now affectionately known as the Sneaker Soiree.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be my first one. I got here after that event last year, so I've seen pictures, and our development staff and everybody have done a really good job of kind of getting this organized. So I'm looking forward to getting my eyes on the event for the first time. And let's figure out a way to go raise some money and enjoy ourselves for the evening.
Well, Pat, I'm not a gamer, but it is good to see on the internet heat maps of FBS football and to see 2 logos in the state of Missouri now, with Missouri State prominently featured.
There's no doubt about that, Art.
Yeah, it's an exciting time. We appreciate the visit. Enjoy your summer, and we'll anticipate very highly the fall.
We'll see everybody at our venues this fall. Go Bears.
Go Bears. Pat Ransdell will be back with the final word right after this. Well, that's our show for this week. Our thanks to Patrick Ransdell for a wide-ranging conversation about what's going on in Missouri State athletics, going into his second year and Missouri State's first year in Conference USA.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think, maybe the busiest summer that we've seen in quite some time, Art. I kind of go back to it, and you were here in the midst of that even more than I was, but I kind of wonder what the crazier transition is when you compare them, and this predates Patrick, but crazier time going from Southwest Missouri State to Missouri State, or making the move from the Missouri Valley Conference to Conference USA. I kind of wonder which one is more logistically problematic, if you will.
Well, I think the name change was transformational for the university. So I think that was by far the bigger deal for the university as a whole. But we are hoping and planning that this is going to be a great move for athletics.
Yep, and all summer long we're going to have parties to involve the fans and our alumni about the move to Conference USA. Of course, it becomes official on July 1, like Patrick mentioned, but this summer, July 22nd in Kansas City, July 23rd in St. Louis, there will be CUSA pep rallies in those markets with, of course, Patrick and the university president, Dr. Biff Williams, and other folks making the trip to Kansas City and St. Louis to take part in those and to kind of get the fan base excited and keep selling those tickets, getting ready for the home opener against SMU. And then, of course, the big party in the CUSA here in Springfield right before the season starts on August 26th. And I know you're looking forward to the start of the football season, Art, but I know you're especially looking forward to the game against SMU.
I am. That'll be my last radio broadcast for the Bears, so that should be a fun occasion. I know pre- and post games are in the process of being planned for that, and the game itself will obviously be the main event.
Well, and that's not the only thing you've got on your plate. You've got that game, but shortly before or after that, you're going to have a documentary film come out, kind of about your career and your fight and your work to get back into the booth after your illness.
Very humbling. Dina Hildebrand, a filmmaker in Kansas City, has put this project together, and she's been to Springfield with a photographer 3 times to shoot, and they've interviewed various people who I knew at various points in my life, and I'm really anxious to see the finished product. It'll premiere October 30th at the Alamo Drafthouse, and then there's going to be a Marshall premiere in my hometown on November 13th.
Okay, now the only really tough question is then how do we get Wyatt to the premiere if it's at Alamo Drafthouse? Because he says he doesn't like people scurrying under his feet. So we'll have to figure out a way to get Wyatt to come to that. But I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's a who's who of Missouri State history, not just because it's about you and you are in it, but you and Coach Rowe and Coach Keltner and just a lot of folks that have meant so much to this university over the years that it'll be a great tribute to you and to the university and to the athletic department here. I can't wait to see it.
Working title is Voice Unbroken, and I'm really humbled that she took on this project. She does great work. We've seen some of her documentaries, and I'm sure it'll be good. Well, thanks to all of you for joining us on MoState Update. We'll be back next month for another edition of the show. For Corey, I'm Art. Good night, everybody.
You've been listening to the MoState Update with Art Haynes and Corey Riggs. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Missouri State Sports Network.